coverage.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Double Coverage. We hope you're still living, loving, and breathing sports. I am Dom with the great man Sauce. What's happening, mate?
What is happening, Doma? We are good. Obviously, we got the NBA playoffs started. A couple of big first-round matchups, a couple of surprises already, a couple of shushes to the crowd, which is what I like to see from Trae Young, who seems to have started guns blazing. But other than that, the wrap-up in the week of sport, and then a couple of interesting things to jump into hour two hobby talk, where we're going to dive into a few topics that have flown through the socials this week, and also Sauceys Smokey at the end. Doma, how's it going? What's been happening?
Good, mate. Bit happening here, as you know, clearly, because we are both from Melbourne in Victoria. So, bit interesting. COVID spiked up again here. Few restrictions. It's come at the worst possible time for us. Insane, because we got the hobby hangout on Saturday. So, as you know, Sauce and I are very transparent and upfront, and we're very, I don't know, we're in limbo at the moment, depending on what happens in the next 24 hours. So, not the best time. It's safe to say that Sauce and I are being a bit down
flat
in the
today.
dumps today.
Flat.
Very flat. Very flat.
Bit flat.
Not
because
good, because we're super excited. We're super excited. So
pumped.
I'm not writing it off, Sauce. I'm not writing it off, but the one thing I do write off, I know we don't talk politics on this show, but the one thing I do write off is our state government. So I've written them off a long time ago. So the odds of us actually not being able to go are probably sitting at around 90% at the moment. So anyway, speaking of Melbourne, speaking of sports down here, and very popular sports, may it be, the AFL round 10, Sauce. There were some ripping games this week. Absolute ripping games. And some absolute shellackings on top of that. But we will start with
I witnessed one first. Yeah, shellacking.
I know you did. Yeah, it was great. Brisbane, Richmond on Friday night. Brisbane get the chocolates by 28 points. Good win. Brisbane, they're just going through the motions. Zach Bailey's a beast. Danaher's look pretty good. Hippwoods look good. But the question with all these teams, Sauce, like there's a few others in here, they've got to be able to do it when it counts. We know that by the time finals comes around in the AFL, Richmond are going to have their full side. They're missing 6 key players at the moment in their side, which are going to make a dramatic difference when it comes to September. So as we saw in the bubble last year, because we had our little bubbles for AFL, Richmond had a few injuries again. They got all their players back for finals. And as we said, it doesn't matter where they finish on the ladder. They can win it. I know they got a second chance. They lost their first final last year, but they play with, I think, a little bit more urgency if they don't get the double chance. But Brisbane, looking good, Sauce. They're just running through the motions. No Lockie Neal either, so they're looking all right. They're looking all right.
Looking good, but look, the line, as I said, Doma, this is what we've known from Brisbane. Can piece it together. They're putting themselves in good stead if they do get the top 4 opportunity. Let's be honest, right? So good W by them. Probably expected to win that game. Obviously, with Richmond, quite a few outs. The Lions having their own outs as well. But yeah, solid win. I think now is definitely a bit of urgency needed. That's what I'm thinking, Doma.
Definitely. Next up, we had the Blues against the Hawks. It was just a given in this. Carlton getting the win by 23 points. There was a few moments in that game where all of them were right in it, and Blue supporters would have literally had their hearts pounding down at the G. But they got the chocolates, 23 points there. Geelong then played Gold Coast, smashed them, 91-57. No need to go through that. The Cats just got the ball, like the steam train rolling after about half time and just finished them off. The next game, though, we will talk about Adelaide handing Melbourne their first defeat by a point. Sauce, you're under 10.5. He's still alive.
They'd have to go. They'd have to strike out from here, Dom. It's probably impossible. It's impossible.
Potentially one of the worst calls.
Yes, look, and the AFL did come out and say that they got it wrong. It just brings it back to the point where I think it was earlier in the year. You had Joel Selwood coming out and calling for a captain's challenge, right? Perfect situation. Captain comes out, challenges that. They review the call. They get it right. And Melbourne probably win the game. So, it's something that probably the AFL is going to look into. We know they love to throw in a rule change every year. I wouldn't be surprised if enough clubs wanted to see that implemented, that they do make something like that happen. But credit to Adelaide for putting it together. We said that the Crows, when they're on, they can beat anyone, and they showed that, which is good. Good for that side. Good for that young football side. Look, Melbourne, a bit of a blimp on the radar, but hey, you won 9 in a row before that, and you're absolutely flying. I wouldn't, fret Melbourne supporters. You're going to be there at the end of the season, and let's hope you can take it all out. I'd love to see the D's win a flag. It'd be great. After me saying they're going to win under 10.5 wins for the season, to then go on and win the flag would be unbelievable.
100%. They look good. They've got that depth, as we have discussed in previous weeks, so we don't need to get back into that. We will move on, though. There was 2 games on Saturday night. One was fantastic. The other one, I turned it off at 2 minutes into the second quarter. Can you guess which one I turned off 2 minutes into the second quarter, Sauce?
Yeah, look, it involved the most inconsistent side in the AFL, and that is the St Kilda Saints. They seem to go missing at times. What happened to that great early performance in the season where they, obviously got slapped one week and then they came out and put in a monsterful performance against West Coast. That's the type of football you need to bring every week. You can't just pick and choose when you're going to turn up, because, the Doggies are a great outfit. The Doggies are going to be there right at the end of the season. I genuinely
lost Trelaw, unfortunately.
Lost Trelaw, which is is unfortunate. But I see the Doggies being there at the pointy end of the season. And as for the Saints, jeez,
it gives you hope,
to say the least.
Saints supporters, I'll give you some hope. All right, your GM football came out during the week and said that your flag window starts in 2022. So don't worry about this year. Apparently, you're going to be contenders for the flag starting next year. So you're looking pretty good, Saints.
Well, I'm not going good with my preseason.
Yeah, I know. We actually thought they were going to be all right. But I'll be honest with you, Saints supporters. This is the harsh reality. You've actually brought guys in, and you're actually brought them in to win now. So this is your team. So once they start getting on, you're going to have to start rebuilding again. So you better hurry up and start winning. So you've got to say to yourself, anything can happen. A team can flip a switch. But is this team good enough to flip a switch to beat Richmond, Brisbane, Geelong, Melbourne, Bulldogs? They're not in front of Sydney. Port, West Coast, GWS. So you're better than those 9 teams. And in my opinion, as crazy as this might sound, I reckon Essendon's in front of you, Saints. Like, I genuinely, with the development of the
I didn't want to say it, Doma. I didn't want to say it. I didn't want to go out there and say that to the Saints supporters. But, what I'm saying, look, think about how many kids we're playing. We've got 2 guys this season who have played their whole careers as forwards, right, that are now playing back. So not only have we got kids in there, we've got guys playing positions they've never played in their whole career, right? Having to throw up. That's right. It's thrown everything around, and we're looking better. We play better football. We showed up and slapped you guys when we had to play you Saints, the Dons. We towed you guys up, and look, I don't want to be that downer for the Saints, but it seems to be like they're on the hamster wheel. They're running a lot, but they're just not going anywhere. They're making moves. They're trying to improve, but they just don't. I just don't see it. I really don't. I feel so sorry for the supporters because they're promised a lot by the moves that they make in the off season, and the promise that they do show at times, but they just don't bring it often enough.
Yeah, they're in a world of pain, and they did lose that game by 111 points. Now, on the other side of the country, in Perth, Fremantle in Sydney played an absolute cracker, and Sauce and I's big old friend down there, the big Budwa, put on a vintage display that I'll tell you what, I was barracking so hard for Buddy, but at the same time, as much as I love Buddy, my favorite player in the AFL is playing on the opposite side for Freo, and he's kicked the clutch goal to win them the game. So I didn't know who to celebrate for. Buddy came out after halftime, Sauce, I think it was the last quarter, 3 clutch goals, and not for anything, Buddy was kicking the ball accurate. He kicked 6-1. The one behind was touched just on the line. He's banged it from about 55, touched just on the line. If he kicks that, Sauce, and he's kicked 7 straight, not 6-1, Sydney would have won, and Buddy would have kicked 5 goals in the second half to literally just carry them over the line.
This is why he's one of my most favourite players to watch, and it was a great game, great football from both sides.
Guys, I
watched Fremantle live. I watched Fremantle live last week or the week before against Essendon, and I said we were lucky to win that game, and Fremantle actually moved the ball well. So to see what they did on Saturday night against the Swans, it was no surprise to me because I'd seen that ball movement that they were able to generate from their back half and the ability to win the ball in the midfield. Well, when you got a guy of Nathan Fyfe's stature and getting you 13 clearances and putting the ball inside 55 times and racking up lazy 27 disposals with 5 tackles, it's going to put you in good stead. He put on an absolute clinic and then clicked the clutch goal. Racked up the Supercoach points, 124 points, if you don't mind.
The other guy, with a quick shout out to him, I think we may have already, but David Mundy is putting together a fantastic football season. The old fella, the veteran of the game, in his mid-30s, playing some fantastic football, and he's just coming up big when it counts for the Dockers. He's a great guy, obviously, to have around the club to help these young fellas, but he has just been phenomenal. So,
averaging 26 disposals.
There you go. 2-point winners in that one, Freo over Sydney, in what was a cracker, probably arguably the first or second best game. You'd probably say it's the second best game because obviously Adelaide stopped Melbourne in their tracks on their win streak. So top 2 game of the round, that one. Moving on, GWS, they've just found form, so it's as simple as that. They are really playing some good football. They beat the Eagles by 16. They're playing good football, great brand of football. Then we had Collingwood versus Port Adelaide, which it was 58-59 in this game. Port get the win by a point. But this was a disgrace to football, this game. It was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. If you are coming into this sport and you want to watch football and you've never watched it before, do yourself a favor. The ones that are blowouts, don't watch those games. And if you think it's a good game because it's 59-58, the moment you see Collingwood attached to that game at the moment, because their list is putrid, do not watch it. Trust me, do not watch it. You're better off just watching another game where a team loses by 20 points than watching that crap. It was dreadful, and not for anything. I'm going to say it's an indictment on Port Adelaide as well. The so-called super team and this built so well, and they got all these great midfielders, and they kicked one behind, was it Sauce? In the second quarter. That's all they could muster up, one behind. This is the team that everyone's meant to be fearing. You came out and said this 2 weeks ago, yeah, and it's a label that we previously put on West Coast.
In the first quarter.
In the first quarter. But it's a label we put on West Coast prior to now putting it on Port Adelaide as of this year. But they are the definition of flat track bullies.
Yeah, they are.
They will comfortably kill you when they play you in Adelaide, and then they come to Melbourne and they struggle against Collingwood. Collingwood's no good. Don't tell me, they played out of their skin. Collingwood's no good. I don't care how good. Collingwood's best football should not be anywhere near Port Adelaide's worst football. As simple as that. But clearly it is, based on what we saw on Sunday afternoon. So I think they've got a bit to work on there at Port Adelaide. A bit to work on. Ken Hinkley's got to get some shit sorted. And the last game, we said it was the toilet bowl, but it's not the toilet bowl. It was just the toilet team in North Melbourne coming up against an up-and-coming and a rising squad in Essendon. And as you mentioned a bit earlier, they have got some great kids, some great talent. We keep harping on about these kids, but the kids are stepping up. Nick Cox, he had a field day, mate. If you ever had to have a coming-out game, it obviously had to be against North Melbourne. You always match up well against them.
He came on as a sub. I think, late in the third quarter, and he ended up racking up 14 posies for the game.
He killed us. He literally killed us.
Kicked 2 sausages.
I know. He destroyed us. So
he still hasn't got a Nab Rosny Star nomination, so it's soon coming, and he's my Smokey to take out the whole thing.
So 72-point loss to North, and the good thing is we'll go straight to our game for next week. For this week's Sauce, we've got St Kilda. Who are you tipping in that? Another team that always matches up well against her. I'm tipping us again.
Tough
we'll bounce back.
Look, I don't really know. I don't really know at this point. But one of the teams has to bounce back, and I just think I'm going to go with the Saints.
Oh.
I mean, this is a toss of the coin.
No,
both teams have been very, very average.
Let's go to the top of the round. Now, this game may not actually go ahead because the Western Bulldogs coaching staff and personnel, they're in quarantine. I don't know what's going on there with COVID. But if it does go ahead, Sauce, Dogs versus Melbourne at Marvel Stadium.
Dogs.
I'm going to go Melbourne for the reason that interrupted week. Just too interrupted with all this COVID crap. It's going to really throw them out, in my opinion, if the game does go ahead. Yeah, if this COVID thing didn't happen to the Dogs, straight away I would have been like, yeah, Dogs will get a win. Melbourne have lost 2 straight. The bet's still alive. That's can you imagine
somehow won it from here? It'd be unbelievable.
And not for anything, it's a top of the table clash because the Dogs are sitting pretty on top at the moment. With that 111-point win, they're on top by about 40% over Melbourne because it's just been belting teams. Collingwood Geelong at the G.
I'm going to go with the Cats.
Well, that wasn't hard. Brisbane GWS.
Lions. It's going to be a good game, that one.
I am tipping GWS for an upset.
It's going to be a cracking game.
Gold Coast Hawthorn.
I'm going to go with Gold Coast.
So am I. West Coast versus Essendon in Perth.
Look, I think West Coast will have our measure.
I think they'll bounce back after last week's performance. Richmond Adelaide.
It's going to be a good game. Richmond need to step up. This is a game they need to win, so I'm going to back them in. I'm going to back them in.
Sydney versus the Blues over in Sydney.
Sydney, Budwa to put on an absolute show. They do not have a defender that can match him.
Yeah, they do. Wiedering will give him a bath.
Liam Jones. Put Liam Jones on him.
They'll kick 10. It'll be 13 again if they put lead.
13!
He's getting closer to 1,000, Sauce. Is that about 38 to go now? Is that 38 to go before we all run on? Port Adelaide Freo to end the round.
Look, Adelaide Oval, Port Adelaide to get the job done.
Flat track boys at home.
Yeah, look.
Done. All right, let's move on.
Freo don't travel the best.
Moving on, Sauce, to F1. And we both sat in.
One of your favourite Grand Prix.
It is one of my favourite Grand Prix. Now, there's a bit that happened in this race and a bit to discuss post-race, which you'll be pleasantly surprised or scoff when I tell you the news that came out post-race. So, Monaco GP, one of my favourite. Obviously, if you don't know, this is an extremely difficult circuit to overtake. So if you lead out and you can get a big lead and you pit at the right time and you pit perfectly and your wheel gun doesn't jam, you end up winning. That's as simple as that. Now, Charles Leclerc got pole because he ended qualifying by crashing into the wall. Now, they decided not to change the gearbox, Ferrari, to drop into the back of the pack. So they said, oh, no, the gearbox hasn't got issues. So he gets ready to line up on Sunday night here. And he's got gearbox issues, and they've had to withdraw Charles Leclerc, who's never finished a race in his home Grand Prix in Monaco. Never. It was heartbreaking to see that, obviously on pole. So he was out before we even got started. So Verstappen automatically goes into pole position, but starting in the second, in the P2 square, not on the P1 square. Gets off to a flyer. Bottas was good pretty much the whole race till he pits after about 30-odd laps, comes in, 3 tyres off, front right, gun couldn't get the bolts off, which we found out it was a gun issue. And if you watch the slow-mo, the gun, as it's trying to take the wheel nut off, is literally shredding it. And you see pieces of the wheel nut flying everywhere. And it's literally just blunting out the wheel nut and the gun. So the wheel wouldn't come off, Sauce. They were trying to bang it. They were trying to do anything.
Seen it.
His pit
It's comical. It was pretty comical.
His pit got up to around 55 seconds before they just said, his race is done here. Even if we put him back out, he's going to go last. He probably won't finish top 10. So they literally pulled the pin on his race, and he was a DNF from coming second the whole time. And he was the better car out of the two for Mercedes. They were actually going to use Hamilton as a strategy play to help Bottas win this race. His pace wasn't as good as Bottas. But Mercedes, which we don't see very often in this sport, Sauce, absolutely cock this up a beauty.
Butchered it.
They pit Hamilton, and he comes out behind Gasly when he was meant to come out ahead of Gasly. And then when Vettel pitted, Vettel came out ahead of Hamilton
He lost
and ahead
2
of
spots.
Gasly. So he loses 2 spots in 7th, and he couldn't do anything the whole race. It is impossible. I've seen some crazy overtakes in this race before, but it just wasn't.
Vettel executed an absolute blinder. Let me just put that out there. It was an unbelievable overtake.
Yeah, Vettel. It looks like that car is actually coming good, but I don't know if it's a bit of fool's gold using Monaco as an example because it's very hard to overtake. Azerbaijan is the next race. It'd probably give us a better indication to see how Stroll and Vettel are going. The good thing is they both finished in the top 10. So Verstappen goes on to win it. Carlos Sainz comes in second. His former teammate in Lando, my boy Norris, in third. So I was very happy with the podium. So the standings were Verstappen first, Sainz second, Norris third, Perez in fourth, Vettel in fifth, Gasly in sixth. Then we have Hamilton in seventh, Stroll in eighth, Ocon in ninth, and Giovinazzi in 10th, picking up the first point for Alfa Romeo this year, which is very nice. The World Championship, Max Verstappen is on top. And it's the first time in his whole career, Sauce, he has led in a world championship season. First time in his career. He's 4 points clear now of Hamilton. That spot cost him a few handy points. He did get the fastest lap, Hamilton. That's the only way he could compensate a point in this race. So he's second on 101. Norris in third, overtaking Bottas again on 56. Bottas on 47. Perez up to 44 points in fifth. Leclerc in sixth on 40. Sainz in seventh. Ricciardo in eighth. We'll talk about him in about a second. Gasly in ninth. Giovinazzi in 10th. And then the constructors, Red Bull on top by a point on 149. Mercedes 148. McLaren 80. Ferrari 78. Aston Martin 19. AlphaTauri 18. Alpine 17. Alfa Romeo with their first point, and Williams and Haas on donuts. Now, Sauce, let's quickly touch on this. Daniel Ricciardo came into Monaco, and this is usually Daniel's race.
It's got good form.
Zero pace in practice. Zero. The race, even worse. Couldn't get into the top 10. He ended up finishing 12th. He was slow. He struggled for grip. I don't know what's going on. We've had our theories on him. Going to McLaren. I had my theory on him a few races ago where I said he's actually probably made a poor move going to a team where they're going to heavily invest in the kid that's like 10 years is junior and has all the potential in the world in Lando Norris. And for him to finish third and for him to be third in the world championship, McLaren knows they can't compete with Mercedes and Red Bull. So why are they going to go put their time and effort into Ricciardo? That's my theory. It's a harsh reality, and it breaks my heart because I love Danny Rick. But I don't know.
His days are numbered, mate. His days are numbered.
But it's F1, Sauce. Like, he's 31. He's still got like 5 years left in him.
Yeah, but he's never going to get, which was on the precipice when he was at Red Bull, to be like the number one guy and potentially maybe get a car that would allow him to challenge, possibly. But it's just not going to happen now. Let's be honest. It ain't happening.
No, he's not. He'll never win one. No, I'm with you. I completely agree. So next race will be Azerbaijan, and we will cover it.
Is that this weekend, Doma?
Nah, next week.
It's a week off.
I think they've left a free schedule. The FIA, you got some Champions League action coming up on Sunday. Now, speaking about that, Europa League on Thursday, Villarreal versus my boys. Your tip. All the leagues are done. Props to Lille for winning Ligue 1. Props to Inter for winning Serie A. Props to Atletico Madrid for winning La Liga. Props
obviously
to Man City. Bayern's a given. And props to Robert Lewandowski, who broke the all-time goals record in Bundesliga history by kicking 41.
40 sausages in the season. Unbelievable. 41.
So props to some massive things that have happened. There's been some manager firings, and it's just been insane.
Look, quick note before we move on is shout out to the Wolves coach. What was his name? Pass me by. He sacked.
He was sacked. He's gone from a fantastic season in 2019.
Nuno Espirito Santo. Nuno Espirito Santo.
And he struggled this season, but now there's some.
Yeah, look, I'm not sure of the situation whether he was sacked or whatever. He said to leave, but whatever it may be, look, unfortunate. He rose that football club from Championship, brought them up into Premier League, got them into Europa League, which they'd never played in the Europa League ever before. So bringing this football club to new heights that they've never even been to.
Just
and
unlucky.
making it a very successful club now, where they've made a lot more revenue and are able to actually invest in players. So, you know, Wolverhampton fans were absolutely shattered. What read the comments on their video, their memorial video they sort of gave to him on their Instagram page, and the fans were distraught. They don't want to see him go, but it's unfortunate these things in world football happen. But shout out to Nuno. Yeah,
It was
time's done.
It was very very sad news.
Very
But
sad.
we do have the Europa League. Who have you got, Sauce? Villarreal or Manchester United?
Look, Villarreal got a good record in the Europa League. I think they're more Sevilla, one of those Spanish leagues. I think it might be Sevilla. They've got a very good record. But I'm going to back United in. I'm going to back United in. You should have enough. You got enough talent on that team to beat Villarreal.
Well,
You look at these two teams on paper.
They reckon Martial's not going to play.
That's no big miss.
Have you heard the rumours about United at the moment?
What's that, Doma?
I might throw them out again on crunch time this week just to piss off Anth. Legit, the rumours are.
Is Haaland coming, is he?
No. Forget Haaland. We don't need Haaland. Apparently, Harry Kane, first of all, is coming to United. Apparently. Trippier, apparently coming to United.
Why would he let it go where he's just
I don't know.
won?
I don't know.
Why would he leave?
Apparently, we're back in the Jadon Sancho race all of a sudden. And the biggest rumor that he's floating at the moment, Sauce, and I've been saying this for about a year and a half. We don't need Haaland. The rumor is the GOAT is coming back to United. And I'll tell you what, and it's got a lot of legs at the moment because there's been a lot of people talking about this. Like, people thought it was a bit crazy when I said it. And we all had a chuckle and a laugh. And I was like, I wasn't really serious. Then I started getting half serious. But he played with Ollie. They played together. They've got a relationship. It's actually starting to get some legs. I don't think he wants to stay at Juventus. They struggled to make Champions League in Serie A. And apparently we're getting this war chest to spend some money, Sauce. And Solskjaer's got some
war
guys.
War chest is never ending. You're in massive debt and you splashing back.
That's okay. It's fine. But apparently, he's got his target, Solskjaer, and these are the guys that he wants. I think there's a couple others down in there somewhere. But if the GOAT comes back, Sauce, just one last time, I'll go out, buy a United jersey, and I'll chuck a number 7 on the back. Cavani, you're giving up 7. I'm just telling you right now. Edinson Cavani, you've done great for us this season. There is no chance on this planet Earth you are wearing number 7 if the GOAT returns to Old Trafford for next season. There is 0 chance. I'd love to see it. I think a lot of people actually would love to see it. Do we win it? I don't know. But the reason we are going to spend all this money is someone needs to compete with Man City. We did pretty good this season. If you compare teams, Man City's is a lot better than ours on paper. But then we could try and keep Pogba as well. Like, if you get some guys in Sauce, we keep Pogba, who did shut me up in the second half of the season. I will admit it. And so did Solskjaer. I was a bit rough on those two. But, yeah. Bruno Fernandes, he's still doing his thing. And you know that Bruno Fernandes and Ronaldo connection might eventuate into something. They are playing Euros together, Sauce. So, I'm just saying.
Yeah,
the links are there.
Piecing it all together.
I'm just piecing the puzzle together. That's all I'm trying to do. They get to spend the month together. When they win the Euros, because it's the best chance Ronaldo's ever going to have, but when they win the Euros, and Fernandes is the tournament's assist leader, and Ronaldo is the tournament most goal scorer, he's going to come back. He's going to come back. That's a cheeky little bet. Gamble responsibly. That's a cheeky little one there. All right, so let's move on. UFC.
UFC card
Garbrandt.
gone past over the weekend. You had Font and Garbrandt was the card that went past. We'll run through the main card as we usually do, and then we'll talk up this upcoming card, which we don't have one this week, Doma. We don't have one. Hang on.
Yeah? Well, there we go.
Wait, we do have one. No, we
go.
don't have one. We don't have one this week, ladies and gents. So we'll run through the card, and then next week we'll run through the following card. But you had Jack Hermanson defeating Edmund Shabanzian in the middleweight division, third round decision. Featherweight division, Ricardo Ramos defeating Bill Aligo in third round decision. The women featherweight, you had Norma Dumont defeating Felicia Spencer, third round decision. Heavyweight division, you had Jared Federer defeating Justin Tafa, third round decision. Women's strawweight, co-main event, Carla Esperanza defeating Janan, I think. Anyway, bantamweight division, the main event, Rob Font got the fifth round decision, defeating Cody Garbrandt, which sees the
end
Cody
of his
Garbrandt to drop a spot in the ranking. Rob Font doesn't move anywhere. He sits in third in that bantamweight division, where Aljamain Sterling holds the belt after he controversially took the belt off Peter Yan in that fight where Yan was disqualified. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I feel that the next final fight is a rematch between Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan, obviously, because there'll be a controversy in the last win in that division. And for the UFC heads out there, the next card is officially on the 6th of June. So this coming weekend, there is no card, but the following, there will be one.
Very nice. Beautiful. Let's move on. And we're going to do it. We've got the NBA. We are going to talk about the playoffs. We just keep it to this point in the show now because we're going to do our bracket properly. Because we may have cocked up a few playing things because Washington, I don't know what the hell happened in that game. They stuffed it up. Then Golden State's not even in it anymore, and we thought they were going through. So we're going to take our predictions from last week, obviously put them in where necessary, and then continue it on. And we're going to make our predictions for the whole entire playoffs, and obviously discuss what has happened in the first week. So, Sauce. We're going to go to Utah versus Memphis. We need to get an actual pick on this because we didn't think Memphis was going to be in this. So, what are your thoughts? Memphis, 1-0 lead. Ja Morant balling out. Now, Sauce, I'm just going to put it out there. I did say Ja Morant was the better of the two, and he was my boy.
Here he comes again with the Ja Morant over Zion. Here he comes again. Look, I'm going to say this on Ja Morant, right? Credit where credit is due.
Yeah.
The man seems to show up when it counts, which, seems to be far cry from other superstars that have come, but it is still early days in his career. So we need to see if he can keep doing this consistently. Are Memphis going to win the championship? Are they going to get out of the first round? Well, it's yet to be seen. I think if Donovan Mitchell, which he's said that he's going to play game 2, that's the word. If he's back and he's healthy, it's going to be a lot harder of a matchup. And look, I'd expect Utah to get out of this first round over the Grizzlies, first of all, as long as Donovan Mitchell is fit. And the Donovan Mitchell that's coming back, I mean, I listened to him speak. He said that, he felt like he was ready to go, but the experts said no, the medical experts from the franchise. So, if he's feeling all right and, he obviously gets through his next, the practice, which probably would have been today. I believe they're playing tomorrow, Doma. So he should play game 2. And if that's the case and he's fit from here on out, Maybe game 2, he takes a bit of time to get into the game, but I think, that there is going to be enough. I mean, they only lost the game, without Donovan Mitchell, 3 points? Something like that, 3 or 4 points?
And Gobert did get fouled out, and they were scoring at will at the ring when Gobert was not on the court.
Yeah, exactly right. So there's a few things there that can swing and change. But credit to Ja Morant coming up big when it counted. Jaren Jackson, need to see a bit more, buddy. But I like what I see. Obviously, he's taking it easier coming back with the injury. But another bloke on that team, Dylan Brooks, honorable mention. The guy has been bowling out, not just obviously the first game, but the leading games, the playing games. He was really, really good. Guarded Curry in that game where they won the game to make it to the playoffs unbelievably well. As good as you can guard Curry, let's be honest. He still went off, but he made it hard for him, which is all you can ask. So, look,
your prediction.
I expect Utah, as I said, to get the job done as long as Mitchell is fit from here on out, which is yet to be seen. But from what I've heard and read, he's going to be playing game 2.
So you're going with what is going to be the scoreline? As in, like, series? For what? I'm going 4-2 Utah.
For to Utah. I'm probably going to go with. Yeah, I think they can get it. I like that scoreline. I'm going to go 4-2. I think they can get another game. It's going to be close, but I wouldn't expect it to go to 7.
Now I'm going to skip the next one because I want to talk about them last on the West, because I know you're going to just go in on it. But Denver versus Portland, we can just talk about this. We both tipped that to be a 4-3 series to the Trailblazers. That series is evened up today 1-1. Jokic was held to his lowest assist in a game, I think, ever, with 1 in game 1. As we know, he averages 9.5 assists a game, Nikola Jokic. So it's definitely below his standards. He dominated today. He had 38. I think he had 8 assists, and I think it was like 13 boards or something. He just killed it. He played very, very well. So did Dame Dollar. Also played well. That series is 1-1. I think it's going to be a good series also. And we saw Melo just ball out off the booze in game 1, which was actually very good to see.
Bizarre stuff. Obviously, he wanted out of Denver, so he got out of there and went to New York. But it's been so long since he left that franchise. It's a bit bizarre to see him getting booed like that. But interesting series once again. I think Portland. I'm seeing Portland edge this one. I just feel, as long as they can contain Jokic and have games where they can nullify his influence, I think there's more supporting cast for Damian Lillard around him to get the job done. But once again, it just comes down to defense. Can Portland put on enough defense to contain that Nuggets team? And then on the Nuggets side, it all comes down to whether, they should just take a leaf out of the Lakers book, which is, force someone else to beat you. What Dame Dollar went out from the first game for like 35, I think, and today 40 plus. Make someone else beat you. Yeah, like if CJ goes off for 40 and he beats you, like, so be it. But don't let Dame go off for 40 and beat you, right? Don't let Dame go off for 35, 10 assists. That's what you can't allow to happen. So I think that the Nuggets, that's what they need to focus on, because the Lakers, we were able to do that last season. And, we've seen how we, ended up dispatching them quite easily in the end. I think we slapped them 4-1 after they took the first game again. So that's what they need to be aware of as well. They need to be aware of that the Nuggets might change their game plan towards Dame, double team him when he comes over half court, and be ready to adapt on the fly and make the most of the opportunities given to the guys surrounding. Melo's not afraid of the moment. Obviously, CJ's not afraid of the moment, but it's the other guys as well that need to step up and make some shots. But I think this is going to go the distance, 4-3. I'm going 4-3 Portland to take out the series.
Yeah, So we both went 4-3 last week on that. So carry that over. And then we have Phoenix against your boys, the Lakers. I said it was going to be a gentleman's sweep in 4-1. You said this was going to be 4-2. You couldn't have played any worse, to be honest. You were pretty poor. The Lakers, you weren't great. Let's be honest.
Yeah, we played so shit and we lost by 9 points, Tom. That's the way I look at it. We were terrible. Aiden slapped AD, absolutely slapped him. But there's one thing that, although people like to get on AD about his shit performance, which as you should, AD has proven that he can come back in the playoffs and in games that matters and stand up. So
Definitely.
He showed it last season. I expect a massive game too. And when I mean massive, like I'm expecting 30 points from AD. I'm expecting to go out there and not let Aiden just bully him on the boards. Bullied him. Absolutely bullied him. I think Aiden had 15 boards and Davis had 4 or 5 for the whole game. You're a 7-footer. You should be getting more rebounds than that. But then also LeBron can play better. And then our surrounding guys, Kyle Kuzma, 19 minutes off the bench and he scored 0 points. 19 minutes. Right? So once again, albeit that we lost the game, I think we lost the game in a manner where it's like we played really bad and we lost by 9. And we had opportunities down the stretch there where we missed wide open threes. You had Caldwell Pope miss 2 threes. There was someone else who missed a wide open 3 that if we hit those, we could have been right there within one basket right at the end. But you can't really bring it down to the last 3 minutes and having to nail 3 threes in a row to bring that margin back. It was how we played throughout that game leading up to that point. Anthony Davis, 13 points is just not good enough. And then on the flip side, Suns credit where credit is due. Aiden bullied AD. He was dominant. Booker standing up and showing us the talent that he's got. Like I've never doubted that he's got the talent. I've always said Booker's an absolute baller. And he's showing that he can do it on the big stage. It'll be interesting to see how CP3's shoulder is into this next game. Is that shoulder contusion going to affect him going forward? Because if it does have an effect, I think it's it's an interesting aspect, but I think it should be all right. He did show signs of it in that game because he was struggling to dribble the ball with his right hand, and you noticed it. Always bring the ball up the court with his left hand. Misdribbled quite a few times on that right hand. Let's see what happens in game 2, but I'd expect the Lakers to come out, and I'm going to give the Suns another game. I'm going to go Lakers 4-2. I think we piece it together. We come out a lot better in this second game. I think put more pressure on them inside. Force Aiden. This is what they need to do. They need to force Aiden to make plays, right, at the rim. And hey, if he makes a play, he makes a play. But force him to either make the play or you got to foul, right? And if we can get him into foul trouble and open up that lane and put their second big in there, I mean, let's be honest, Dario Saric as your second big.
Yeah, no, that's a problem.
That's a recipe for disaster. And this is where I'm saying where I think there could be a healthy medium that they do play AD next to Marc Gasol. Sorry, they should give Marc Gasol some minutes because Marc Gasol can spread the floor, and you have to guard him out on the 3-point line. Which, when AD and him are on the court and tandem, then possibly that allows AD more space if they put him on the block. Them not being able to clog the lane, which they did really, really well. So, Lakers 4-2.
4-2. Very nice. All right, last game in the West before we give the final matchups. You went Clippers 4-3 last week. I said Dallas 4-3. Are you going to change your tip, or are you going to stick true to that?
No, I'm sticking with it.
Yep, fair enough. That's fine. Your thoughts on what you said was going to become a reality once again. You said it the whole entire season that once it comes to playoffs, it's going to happen all over again. Just wait and see. And he was telling us otherwise. People that love the NBA were telling us otherwise. And unfortunately for them, you were right on the money in game 1. Not to say it's going to happen every game, but you were right on the money. So the Clippers, they shut the bed. They're down 1-0. They lost at home. They played, as Source keeps saying, they stunk it up at the end of games. At the end of the game in the fourth quarter, they couldn't hit shots, and you can't just Luka the Don knows how to hit big shots. So you give him the ball, he can make a play. It's not like he's going to miss as much as what Paul George and Kawhi Leonard have been missing. So playoff potato returned. Your thoughts on that game, Source?
Look, not all the blame onto Paul George. There was, you go through this. Obviously, Kawhi goes 1 of 6 from 3-point land. PG 2 of 8, which doesn't help the cause. But Marcus Morris Sr. 0 of 6 from 3. So there was a number of guys who were down in that game. But I think it just brings it back down to what happened to this Clippers defense. We should be able to nitty-gritty these games and grind it out. But once again, it is the epitome of that franchise, which is at times they lack a guy who just wants to take over that game. Kawhi in the series last year, he went. Where did he go? We seen what happened. Struggled in the fourth in crunch time when it mattered, and you called it. He struggled in crunch time in the fourth year. Now, this is what I want to see. Kawhi, who are you as a basketball player? Yeah, because if you're saying you want to be talked about as one of the greats of the game, this is where then the next game you do one of two things. You come out, you score 40 plus, you lead your team to a victory, or you shut down Luka. Pretty much either one of the two. Shut down Luka best you can, which I don't think you're gonna shut him out completely. But could you keep Luka to 25 points and force him to shoot 2 of 11 from 3, and crowd him out, force him into turnovers, which he's prone at times to doing when he gets under pressure and he's played and guarded in the right way. We've seen it. He does it. So is that going to happen? We don't know. But I just think surely the Clippers 2 years in a row will have learned their lesson about Luka the Don. Surely. They got out of it last year. They got out of it last year.
By the skin of their teeth, mate.
By the skin of their teeth, right? I think they're going to do it, but it's going to go to 7. I can't see how this doesn't go to 7. I really can't. This is a tough series. They wanted to avoid the Lakers, but I tell you what, they got a team in Dallas Mavericks that have their number. Anyone says otherwise, you're dreaming. Dallas, they're confident, especially after what they did last season. And don't forget, they were in that until Porzingis got injured, I believe. Right?
Correct.
So just think about that. Just think about that. Anyway, I'm going to stick fat. I'm going to stick fat.
Nice. All right, let's quickly go Portland versus Lakers in the next round, because if that's what we're predicting, what do you reckon it's going to be? Quick scoreline, then we'll move to the East.
Portland versus Lakers. What? Who? What? What did you say?
Portland versus Lakers for the next round, based on our predictions in the first round.
Yes, I'm gonna go. Lakers we're gonna take them out again. I think I'm gonna go 4-1 repeat of last season.
I'm also going 4-1. All right, in the other ones, Utah versus Clippers for you. Who takes that?
Tough series. I like it. I'm gonna go the Jazz 4-3 because I don't want to see the Clippers in the finals.
Utah 4-3. I picked Dallas. I'm actually picking Dallas in 7.
Bang!
He's gonna play LeBron in the Western Conference Finals. So
you go versus the go.
You're going Lakers versus Utah, and I'm going Dallas versus Lakers in the Western Conference.
Lakers 4-2.
I'm going Lakers 4-2 as well in either series. All right, let's go to the East quickly. There's a couple we can absolutely breeze through these. Philly versus Washington. We can give a fresh prediction on this. I'm going 4-1 to Philly, and you're going 4-zip. 4-zip, yeah, fair call. Brooklyn versus Boston. I'm going 4-1.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I watched that game. Brooklyn couldn't have played any worse,
And they still
and
and they still won.
they still won.
KD had one of the worst halves of basketball and still dropped 32.
It's yeah, it is like it's sort of scary, like to think how bad they played and they still won that game comfortably. But yeah, I'm going with you on that 4-1. I can't see them winning more than one game. Boston.
All right. Let's go based on our predictions from last week, Sauce. I said 4-2 Knicks, and you said 4-3 Knicks. What are your thoughts on this series? The shush was just amazing.
It was deafening. It's silencing, sorry. Not deafening. Silencing. Great game. Great game. One thing that the Knicks need to look at that and go, you know what? We didn't look after the ball. They turned over the ball. Derrick Rose was dreadful in that last quarter. He turned over the ball so many times. Julius Randle had one of his worst games of the season. He was average, and they lost by what, a point, 2 points, right? I think you need to look at it like that. They can play a lot better, can the Knicks, and you know I wouldn't be worried if I'm Knicks. I think you've shown good enough basketball to get your way out of this series. You need to do a better job, obviously, containing Trae Young, which is a lot easier said than done. Seems to be the case that he's showing that he's a true talent, up for the task. And we love to see that this new breed of talent steps up when it matters, because this is what breeds winners, breeds guys who we want to collect in the hobby, essentially. So I'm going to stick with my prediction. Knicks 4-3. Trae Young balling, but he balling, I tell you.
Done. All right. Milwaukee, Miami. I said 4-2. You said 4-3 to the Bucks.
This looks like
they're winning.
This looks like a 4-1.
Yeah.
They just.
Bryn Forbes just came out and gave us a bath today. Bryn Forbes, the real Stephen Curry. He came out and just killed us. I don't know if you've seen Butler's stats, Source. 25% field goal percentage. He's shooting like, I think, 23% from three. Doing pretty well at the moment. Buckets struggling a bit. Yeah, we're not up for the task in this. Milwaukee's just, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder from last year. That's
Giannis shoots 1 of 7 from 3.
I don't know why he's shooting threes. He could just bully us. He did everywhere else. So I don't know. That series is over. There's no point even getting into it. Adam says gentleman sweep. Also, thanks, Cherry, for saying my hair looks nice. Appreciate that. Let's go to the second round. Philly versus Knicks. Who have you got?
I'm going Philly. Philly. They don't
Philly.
got no one who can guard Joel Embiid.
I'm saying 4-2.
4-2.
Done. So Philly there in the Eastern Conference Final, and then Milwaukee versus Brooklyn on the other side.
This is what I feel. I feel this is either that series, Bucks, Nets. That's where the Nets are gonna fail, or they're gonna fail in the next series. That's a tough one. I'm gonna again. It's the good defensive side.
It's a tough one.
That's a tough series. I'm gonna go 4-3 the Bucks.
I'm also going 4-3.
The Nets to fail. I don't know. I'm also skeptical about their health still. I'm also skeptical about.
I'm not skeptical about that source. I'm skeptical about the pieces they got around them. They're actually not that good.
They got good role players.
You reckon?
They got a few good ones. I mean, when you got 3 guys on the court that can give you 90 points a game,
yeah, I know.
You don't really need much, do you?
No, that's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. there's going to be team games where they're going to get shut down. That Milwaukee one's going to be the tough one. Middleton can actually play D. Drew Holiday can actually play D. And Giannis can actually play D. And DiVincenzo, he's not a bad defender. He's not amazing, but he can play D. Like, guys actually play defense for Milwaukee. Boston are genuinely a good defensive team, but they just got no firepower. They're no good. It's just in Tatum we trust.
Defense, don't they?
It's just in Tatum we trust. They got 3 guys that can shoot 90, and they're relying on one guy to shoot 50 to 60 a game. So that's the difference in that Boston-Brooklyn series. Yeah, I reckon they go through. So we have a Philly Bucks Eastern Conference Finals. Who are you picking in this one?
I am going with the... Oh, this is a tough one again. I'm going to go the Bucks to take it all the way through. They're going to take it to 7 games, 4-3.
I'm also going the Bucks, Sauce.
Joel Embiid is going to be once again disappointed.
I'm going 4-2. And then the finals then, Lakers versus Bucks.
Lakers? What are you talking about? However we win, it doesn't matter. 4-2, 4-3. Adam says the Sixers in the comments. Yeah, so look, Adam, a soft spot for the Sixers. Soft spot.
Adam, if
and I'd like to. Out of those two, it wouldn't bother me as long as it's not the Nets. That's it. That's
Adam,
all that matters.
If the Sixers do get in, what do you reckon is the score line? While we wait for you, do you reckon Lakers win or the Sixers win it? And give us your series score line. But I'm going to go Lakers. And not confidently going to go the Lakers.
Are you taking the Bucks out of the other side of the East as well?
Yeah, I'm taking the Bucks, but I'm honest to God, Sauce, as freaking crazy as it sounds, I'm not taking the Lakers confidently. I'm going to say 4-3. It's going to go to 7, but it could go either way.
Yeah, it's just the year of Giannis. That's what we need.
The reason why I'm skeptical is the fact of doesn't matter how shit the Lakers play, the GOAT will just put the whole team on his back and just win it. He'll just get there and win it. That's my fear. That's my fear. Like if I go for the Bucks and say, the Bucks win, Sixers win the ring 4-2 against the Suns. It's an interesting take. That's my favorite little feature too on StreamYard.
There he goes. Yeah, Adam on the comments. His prediction: Sixers Suns finals. Oh, you're telling me that the Lakers are going to lose to the Suns in the first round, Adam? Jeez, come on.
You're
counting out the GOAT too early. LeBron James, do we know the stat that LeBron's never lost in the first round? Does everyone realize that? Does everyone realize that?
But stats are there to be broken when you've got the most brittle player in the competition on your team.
Does everyone forget that he just put up 30 and 40 to end the season? Like, it's not like he's injured.
No, I know that. I understand that. It makes it even worse than he was fit. It was a 2 shit games. He was shit against Golden State as well. He's inconsistent.
He's got the GOAT there.
That's exactly my point. The only reason he's any good and we talk about him is the fact that he went to the Lakers and he won a title with the GOAT.
Fair point.
The first round for everything, says Adam. I was going to come out and say something absolutely ridiculous. I was thinking about my take on Anthony Davis, and I'm like, I'm not going to go as far as what I wanted to go to because I go, that just makes no sense. And I would look like an idiot. I would genuinely, if I said it, Sauce would give me the Lamont of the year on the spot if I said what I was going to say. And it was a bit clickbaity, and I'm like, nah, I'm not going to be clickbaity. Like, I can say about Messi and crap, but if I said that, it's just like, nah, it's a bit stupid. But in all honesty, are we talking about Davis if he doesn't go to the Lakers and he doesn't win a title? We're not talking about him.
No.
Seriously, Sauce, we're not talking about him. We wouldn't have talked about him this year because he got injured again. Everyone would be like, oh, yeah, typical Anthony Davis. He's injured again. He was dropping 40 and 30 and 50 at New Orleans when he was there. And he was proven he couldn't win. And I'm not saying that's because he's supporting cars and stuff, but he played with LeBron for first year, wins a chip, and he becomes relevant again. He was getting to the point, I understand it was the market too, but he's becoming irrelevant. It's all well and true. We're like, oh, yeah, he's one of the best big men in the league and this and that. I'd, any day of the week, take Joel Embiid over Anthony Davis. Any day of the week. Any day of the week and twice on Sunday. Literally. I like AD, but Joel Embiid would give him a bath. And I actually kind of would like to see Phoenix versus the Lakers in the finals.
Sixers.
Yeah, Sixers, sorry. Your two big guys would get absolutely exposed. As you know, Drummond is Embiid's son. Embiid is in Drummond's head. He's got a lot of real estate there. But your big guys would get absolutely exposed. Embiid would destroy both of them. It'd be literally on LeBron's shoulders to do it. And the scary thing would be in that series, if it did get to that, Ben Simmons probably would guard LeBron. That's the scary thing. So that would also be good to see. And the way Ben Simmons is playing, he'd probably be a tough matchup for LeBron James. As we saw, Wes Matthews was a tough matchup for like LeBron last season, like in a few games. So in saying that, I don't know. Anyway, let's move on. We've clicked over an hour. AD is LeBron's Pippen, says Adam. Just not as good as Pippen. That's the difference. Just trying to bait Sauce. He wants nothing. All right, Le Mans of the week, Sauce. Get into it. Yeah. Something's come on your radar. You're not too happy about it?
Yeah, look, Doma, I'm just... A few things have gone by. Everyone who, if you haven't seen it, you know, Google it. You can watch a whole video about it. You can watch everything that went said back and forth between the two parties or the multiple parties that are involved. But it's not them exactly that I'm going to give the Le Mans, but it's just the general thing around hate and where it comes from in a place and the way it's put upon people in a manner that sort of talks down on them. And I'm talking about the general situation and what sort of transpired between Kwame Brown and the lads over at the All the Smoke podcast in Stephen Jackson and Matt Barnes. Now, if anyone doesn't know who Kwame Brown is, you can go Google his name. He was a former number one pick and yada, yada, yada. Essentially, everyone calls him a bust because he was number one pick and didn't turn out to be very good. But in saying that, he did spend 12 years in the NBA and made millions and millions of dollars. So, albeit he was a bust as a number one pick and didn't live up to the potential, he still made millions and millions of dollars and was a very successful man in that sense in pretty much his career. You can't really complain in playing basketball for 12 years and making millions of dollars. But it's where the manner of hate in terms of, you know, shitting on Kwame Brown because his basketball ability wasn't there. I get it. You know, we do that as people in the hobby. We talk shit about players when, you know, they're scrubs or, you know, they're not like the most collectible player and all that sort of thing. But there's one thing like you can't talk shit about, which is what all those players have done, which is the hard work, the amount of hours in the gym, the hours in you know, sessions to get to that point, to make it to the NBA, because just making it to the NBA is an achievement in itself. And then for Kwame Brown to consistently get contracts for 12 years and make millions of dollars, that is a massive achievement. You know, he said a line where he goes, if you call buying your mum a brand new house on the golf course at the age of 18 a failure, then we need to actually lower the standards of what failure is, because that's ridiculous. I came in here as a kid who had nothing, a kid who put in the work, came from absolutely nothing, and made millions, not only for me, but for my family, who came from a place of very poor origins. So I'm giving the lemon to haters out there that want to talk down on someone. We should putting hate not onto Kwame Brown and for what he's done, but on what he's done as a African American is actually successful. He could have probably easily got taken down the wrong path, as a lot of African Americans do in America, and go down the path of drugs and that's gangs and all that sort of related things. But he chose to put his head down, go after a dream in playing basketball and playing in the NBA and playing in the best league in the world. And albeit, yeah, he was a bust as a number one pick. He was number one pick. He never lived up to it. But we're going to call him a failure in his total life for one action that didn't work out in his life, right? Yeah. Okay, he averaged 6.6 points for his whole career. You can go have a look at his stats. He was just an average basketball player, right? Unfortunately, he happened to have labeled the number one pick, but what he also done was set up his whole family for the rest of their lives and for future generations by making millions and millions and millions of dollars. And who knows how many millions he turned those previous millions he made in investments and things like that. If he got in with the right people and made investments, who knows? He might have more money now. We don't know. But he seems to be doing well off, and he's here there minding his own business, and he's getting shade thrown at him in that manner. I just think that the way that it was portrayed towards him in general, that's the sort of hate that we don't want, because Kwame was a success for his family and for everyone around him.
He may not have lived up to that number one tag that was put on him, which comes with a big burden in basketball. Does. And there's guys that I can turn around and say, like, if you're considering him a failure, like, and no disrespect to like Greg Oden, he had injuries and stuff, and you got him, and you got Anthony Bennett. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you say about these guys? I'll give you other examples. Source, you got like Andre Roberson, guys like him, Jabari Parker, like Brandon Roy didn't really achieve anything. He was a great player, but he was injured. But because he didn't achieve anything, like.
Once again, like,
you know what I mean? It's just like one of the.
I get it, but even like someone like Jabari Parker, number 3 pick. Yeah, they didn't turn out. That's right, they didn't turn out, but no shades coming towards them. Like Jabari Parker, number 3 pick, but he's still getting contracts. He's still getting paid millions. Like, exactly, he's still successful.
Another guy, Otto Porter Jr. Man. That's another guy.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? They're not unbelievable guys, but you don't know what Kwame was like in the locker room, how he helped other players. He could have been a leader. You don't know any of that stuff. If we're going based on what he produced out on the court, 6.6 points per game, all right, fair enough. It's like, oh, all right, he didn't live up to that thing. And he, as Saul said, he was a bust as a number 1 pick, but he's definitely not a failure as a person. I don't see anywhere that's a failure. He was in the league for 12 years. That's a massive success. Some guys due to injury, some guys that have less talent than Kwame Brown or more talent don't even get to 12 seasons. Less talent gets to 15 seasons, and they weren't even as good as him. So it's like, I think he just copped bit of flack.
A bit of flack. But for that, it's all the unwarranted haters out there, where it's I think you need to step back and really think about where you're throwing that hate. I mean, I understand we do that on this show when we talk about people's performances and players' performances. We definitely do throw some hate, that's for sure. But we will never sit here and be like, begrudge that person. And I've always said, the amount of effort and talent and sweat and tears and that goes into making the NBA, that's a success in itself. So we're not we're gonna hate on your play as a basketball player, but in terms of like the unwarranted hate, in terms of hating on someone's sort of their whole life revolving around just their basketball on court success is rubs off onto them being a failure in life. That's unwarranted, right? And for that, that gets the lemon of the week.
There you go. Another lemon. Add him to the list. So it's almost mid-year, Sauce. We'll be doing a mid-year vote soon on the lemon. But we will move on. Hobby talk. We will start with blockchain, boys, and I'm just going to breeze through this as we're being extended amount of time on sport, and we've got a bit to cover on the hobby front. So blockchain, boys, I'll just quickly go through it. We've got immaculate cards again. All 1-of-1. We've got a Zion Williamson, on-card auto, CD Lamb, RPA, sticker, Tua Tagovailoa, RPA, sticker.
I believe they put a sticker on it.
Yeah, I know, same here. Drew Brees, patch
they all
auto.
Have to do sign one damn card.
I know.
It's a 1-of-1.
AD, patch auto. Tyrese Maxey, patch auto. Isaac Okoro, patch auto. And a Ken Griffey Jr. patch auto. And that is a very nice card, by the way. That is a nice autograph.
That is a ripper. How's that autograph? Ken Griffey Jr.
Sick order.
That is a beauty. I like it.
And the patch is also very nice.
I like it, Doma.
Very nice. All right. So that's blockchain boys sorted quickly. All right. Now, golden auctions. Let's review it. Get it up. So we've got a bit to discuss because a bit's been flown out, and we're gonna sink the two topics because I'm gonna read you a few things. That card porn. Where are we? And I'm just going to try and link it. These are a few comments. Obviously, names scrubbed out. I'll read them, all right, Source. It's the card market. It's simple. The card market has crashed. Nobody's paying these astronomical prices for these cards. Dealers aren't buying cards because there is zero cash flow. No one is buying their cards. Nobody cares anymore. There's no opportunity to make money, so people are selling and leaving. Nobody wants to buy a 5K card when you can go on a vacation or a bar with friends or even invest in more profitable areas. Come summer, it will be a bloodbath. Base cards have zero value as they are not collectible cards. The gig is up. Personally, I've already begun to liquidate my collection and will not buy a single card. Perhaps I'll come back in 2 years when card prices become realistic. There is no more upside for cards as life returns back to normality. I wish you guys the best of luck. If you can flourish, then God bless. I personally see no upside to the card market anymore. There are better investment opportunities outside the hobby. I'd rather have the cash. How much more will these cards appreciate? Demand has peaked, and we are seeing prices crash as a result. Anyone who thinks otherwise is delusional. The hobby will return to what it was, a hobby, not as an investment opportunity anymore. Thus, many people will continue to exit the hobby. Cash flow is starting to dry up. I see that every show I go to, dealers complain each time no one is buying. Some will hit the hobby even harder as people will be deep underwater in card value. Thoughts on that, Source? A few of those things.
Some really interesting takes, Doma. Obviously, people, whenever this sort of thing happens, Doma, isn't it what we see? We see this same sort of, reactions from people. And I reckon there is probably some people shitting their pants at this point, seeing the values drop. But just have a look at where the values have come from over the last 2 years. And if you've got the card ladder data, you can feel free. You can go through and have a look if you've got the pro version. And this is why it's good to have something like that, because you have a look at it and you go, shit, just 2 years ago, this was this amount. And here it is 2 years later, and it's up, 10,000% or something on some cards, right? It's ridiculous, right? Absolutely ridiculous. And you're like, no investment goes up in 10,000%. If we're talking this as an investment, it goes up in 10,000% in 2 years. Like, it's just unbelievable without it having some sort of correction. And it happens in every market. And we're seeing this correction, this healthy correction that I'm talking about. Do I think that there's people exiting because they're shitting themselves? Yeah, I reckon there is. I reckon there's people exiting. I reckon there's people that bought those cards way too high. I mean, have a look back a few, all the modern stuff's down and even the GOAT stuff. But I think it's warranted because stuff went up ridiculously quick. Like, cards that, I was buying PSA 8s, of certain cards for $50. I mean, they were up. People were willing to pay $400-$500 for the same card, like 10x in 3 months. Like, it just doesn't work that way. Like, albeit you can sell a few and take the opportunity to sell at those prices. People are going to wisen up. And how many true buyers are there of a PSA 8 card that may have, say, X amount of pop, or maybe a rare card? So that's where, it's comes down to where the rare cards we are seeing are holding value. And then there are cards out there where, one was alerted to us today. The Messi 2006 World Cup card PSA 10 in the Argentina kit recently sold for 40K, maybe 6 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, and now just today sold for 18K. But if you go have a look back in December last year, that card was $3,500. So for it to sell still at 18K today after supposedly the market's gone up and now it's dipped and it's still sold for 18K, I mean, Dom, if I bought that card for 3.5K, I'd be pretty happy at taking 15K profit.
100% you would.
I don't know about you. I'd be happy with that. But
I would.
You know what I'm saying? Like, understand that there are certain things that this is applying to. And I respect whoever that may be on Cardboard's end, their input, whether they're talking to dealers and things like that. But, was there any dealers out there buying up people's cards on the dip of the price? Because I did watch some videos at Dallas Card Shows where there was people there who were also had tables, were also buying cards. So, there's as many as people as there are out there that are skeptical of the current market situation. There are a whole bunch of people which are pretty positive.
Now,
me being one, Doma, me being one,
yeah,
I think this is something that had to happen. It had to happen. But it's happened before, Doma. This is the thing. This is the thing. It's happened before. This is not the first time that we've had this sort of correction back like this.
That's true. And Cage actually said this on LTB, and he said it's like when things become too hard, people just pull the pin. They don't want to deal with the lows. Everyone just wants to ride the high. 24/7.
Yeah.
Ride the high.
Very good point.
No one knows how to deal with the lows. No one. Because we live in just a society where everything is just at the top, at the top, at the top. Sauce and I got some crypto. The coin that we got absolutely plummeted during the week in the last couple of days to practically below where we even bought in. Probably we missed the boat to buy back in, but it's starting to go up again. It's up 40%.
Don't cheat. Don't cheat it. It's up 86% in the last 40 hours. Anyone out there who wants to know what the crypto is that we're invested in, it's OMI is the ticker. It's Ecomi, ECOMI. Do your research, and it's up to you whether you want to invest in that. This is not financial advice.
Yeah, no, not a fan. But feel free to inbox us if you have any questions.
Yeah, feel free to inbox us. We can just point you in the right direction.
But it's the same thing, whether it's crypto or cards or anything. It's just like everyone expects the highs. So it's just sticking true to the hobby. And this really gets to the point, Source, where it's going to really weed out the collectors and the true hobbyists and the guys that just want a quick buck.
You know what I would love to see with this market correction, Doma, is the box prices go down just a little bit.
That would be quite nice,
but I don't think it's going to happen. Let's be honest.
No, the box prices.
It's all controlled. It's all controlled by, as we've spoken about it before, by retailers and distributors. Unfortunately.
Exactly. Now, Saucy, if you want to get golden up, we can run through a few of these cards. Now, we're hearing a few funny things about how it's
Obviously, we
the
had the
card
big
price.
Honus Wag. As much as everyone wants to say the market's down, here we go. We've got a Honus Wagner PSA 2 selling for a record sale for $3.66 million.
That's
If
sick.
you don't mind. If you don't mind.
PSA 2, that's elite.
And then we obviously had the PSA 9 Jordan, which sold for what is it? Game jersey.
That's his first jersey. That's his first like jersey patch auto. Jersey auto? Jersey? Is it jersey or RPA? Game jersey. So jersey auto. That's yeah.
It is, Doma. Oh, I've lost the page. No.
Oh no.
That's all right, mate. Don't worry.
He's back. He's back.
He's back. Don't worry. I exited the page, but we're back. All right.
He's back.
So then we've got the Magic Johnson and Bird rookie selling for $550,000. PSA 8 Mickey Mantle. These are always a fan favorite. So still some massive sales. Look, here you go. This is an absolute cracker. Look at that, Doma. The PMG, the PMG, red PMG, Kobe, 1997, and Metal Universe Precious Metal Gems, selling for $270,000. Now, this was an interesting one, Doma, which isn't a card, but it's a game worn jersey, rookie jersey from his rookie season. Kobe Bryant sold for $3.69 million.
That's
cracking
sick.
sale. Cracking sale. There was a few interesting ones on the soccer front, Doma. It'd be good if I could find the soccer category here and click into it. Here we go, soccer. To find it down.
Pele.
There we go. We had a PSA 3 Pele sell for $51,000. Now, I did see someone out there who follows soccer cards a lot more than me, I must be said, albeit I do. And some of this high-end stuff I don't really follow because I don't have much collection in that stuff. But Jamie, UK collector, who I follow on Instagram and who's massive into soccer cards, obviously from the UK, and did put a story up with a screenshot of these cards, the soccer cards, saying not a good night for soccer, premium soccer cards. So by his standards, seems to have seen some sales which didn't live up to potentially what he was hoping for. So I'm not exactly 100% sure what he may have been mentioning there, but if anyone can tell me or inbox us, let us know in terms of, maybe some of these cards maybe possibly should have gone for more. Here's an interesting one, the Kylian Mbappe, which is from the top set, which Anth likes to talk about as considered his first rookie card. This is the set, the Topps Chrome 2017. There was a BGS 10 gold refractor, which sold for $44,000. Pretty good. Pretty good.
What's
I
the
would have
one
thought.
below?
I would have thought they would have done more, and probably if he was in the Champions League final this weekend, it probably would have done more. I think that person got a very, very, very good deal on that 44,000. I think that's a great deal. You got to remember, this guy's already won World Cup. He's got more World Cups than Messi.
What's the guy below him going for?
He went for 68,000. That seems to be a auto. I think
It is an auto though. That's fair enough.
Yeah, it is an auto. It's numbered to 25. I still think you're flirting with danger there, paying that much for that card this early. So yeah, interesting
Mega
one.
cracks Messi
This
in
one,
there.
Mega cracks Ronaldo. Now I believe that sold for 250,000.
Yeah, it's gone down
recently, and it's gone down to 196. But then once again, don't forget, this card, Mega crack card, was like a $10,000 card, $20,000. You could have bought this card probably about 14 months ago. I'm going to double check this right now so I can
There's also Zizou on there. Zinedine Zidane. I like that. 91, 92 Panini foot stickers. Rookie. I like it, Sauce. Bit of Zizou.
that's a good one, Doma. That's his I believe that's his rookie sticker.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I could have bought that for about
but
I'll be honest with you,
44,000.
Yeah, I could have bought that last year.
Here we go. We'll have a look at the mega cracks.
Early 2019. I think I could have bought that sticker for $2,000.
All right, Doma. All I got to say is, obviously, there's not too many PSA 10 mega crack Ronaldos out there. There's only 38 on the pop. But just going back to the 23rd of the 11th, 2020, it was a $47,000 card. The Mega Cracks Ronaldo.
Jeez.
So you could have bought it for essentially 1/10 of the price. No, 1/10.
No.
I've got fucked up my maths there. 1/4 of the price. My bad.
A quarter.
1/4 of the price. So like it's still up. You know what I mean? It's still up when you think about it like that. So, guys, albeit it's down 40,000 from its high, 50,000, it's still up 150,000 from 6 months ago.
That's ridiculous.
Right? So, ladies and gents, and we know this about the hobby, and it's what I've always said is, when it brings it down to like when we go through all these things, the premium stuff holds its value. A lot of it.
Ridiculous.
So here we go. Is this a Mega Cracks 9.5 Messi sold for 75,000? You got a few Maradona. I think these are Maradona rookie stickers, I believe.
Yeah,
possibly rookie sticker. I think that's a good buy. I like that rookie sticker. BGS 8, 3,600. BGS 9, 6,000. We got a rookie Ronaldo sticker.
Oh.
Ronaldo, the original Ronaldo, in a PSA 6, selling for 5,500. Oh, here's one, Doma. There's one that I'd like, 6,000. Jeez, if I had to spare 6,000, I would have bought that.
That's nice.
That's good. That's the rookie sticker Thierry Henry.
That's sick.
This is a nice sticker. You can actually go buy this.
That's very nice too.
That's. I think that was his first official sticker. Super Culture. Obviously in his, I think I can't remember who was that Corinthians kit, IX kit.
I'm
not exactly sure, but yeah. Obviously, interesting one. I don't know if there's any other ones you want to go through, any other LeBron James. There's a whole bunch of stuff. They even sold some Super Bowl tickets in the last thing. They got non-sports card section here. Go
to that non-sports card section, Sauce, just quickly.
Non-sports cards. All right, let's see.
I'll be keen to see what's in here. All right, the Zard.
Shadowless Zard sold for 47,000 PSA 10. You got a first edition Jungle Box selling for 12K. First edition factory sealed Pokemon box, Germany edition.
27K.
27,000. I still
think.
What's
that first lot? What's the first lot that went for 15 at the top? What is that? That box?
That is an Impel Marvel Series 1 factory sealed case. 20 boxes for 15,000. That person is
laughing.
This is what I mean, right? Impel 91 DC Comics. Why hasn't that set gone off? Like, it's made by Impel. It's the first DC comic one. DC Comics probably just as big as Marvel, I'd have to say. I mean, you got Superman, you got Batman, you got some of the biggest ones in there.
Just wait till those films come out.
So it's still a buy. You got to think about people were buying these boxes, those Marvel boxes, for the same price that I'm telling people to go out and buy yourself a DC Comics 91 Impel box for $60 US, $70. And then they went up to $1,000. 3,000 to 6,000 they were going for at one point.
That's crazy. What else we got?
That you could have bought for 100 USD. That's unbelievable.
Magic the Gathering in there. Yeah, very nice.
So a few things. Obviously, there's a Fortnite. I don't know who the hell's buying these Fortnite boxes, man. That's crazy. The Fortnite things, that baffles me. Then a couple of other interesting things.
DMX.
Yeah.
Oh, there's the PMGs, the Marvel PMGs.
Yeah, I like them. There you go. Oh wow, this is interesting. This this is interesting because obviously
That's what we were shown once upon a time by a good friend of ours on our
yeah,
clubhouse.
a friend of ours on Clubhouse, Rick. He made us aware of these PMGs for Marvel characters,
It's got a
and
fair few Venoms.
when all the whole Marvel hype kicked off, instead of going buying those, he went and bought all these PMGs of a whole bunch of characters, which for me was an unbelievably smart play. And I think it's going to work out for him really good in the long run. I hope to, at some point later down the track, get him on the podcast and have him chat about it, how his thought process on these sorts of things. But
definitely, he collects everything. He's got Mbappe coming out of his ears as well. Look at them. They're sick PMGs.
They look sick, don't they?
They are sick.
They look
blue,
cool.
Orange, green, red variations.
They look cool. I tell you what, I like this one here. 1959 Fleer, Three Stooges, Curly. Clearly, everyone knows Curly was the funniest three stooge of them all. I like that one. I like that one. Here's another one here, Doma. That one didn't sell for too much. But I tell you what, PSA 8 sold for $10,000. So anyone out there who doesn't think that there is money in these sort of alternate cards, think again. There's actually, I'll tell you what, Doma, just as a little plug here in terms of alternate cards, there's one person in particular that I've been looking at, and it's funny because I have to walk past a picture in my house every day of this person. It's none other than Elvis Presley, the king of rock and roll, the man who brought that all onto the scene and blew up massively, obviously, in the, I think it was in the 60s or 70s. Don't. Obviously, I'm not from that era, but my mum is from that era, and she loves Elvis Presley, and she's got an Elvis Presley like framed record thing in our house. And I thought about it, and I seen someone mention it. I'm like, oh, let's go have a look and find his first ever cards. I can't remember the set exactly, but I will find it for you and let you know right now. But it's Elvis Presley, and I believe it's a gum card.
Yeah, that makes sense. That actually makes sense.
So I believe it is the. Yeah, there's a few different ones, man. I think it's the 1958 Dutch gum card set. 1958 Dutch gum card. That's the set. I think. Don't quote me on this, but just go do your research. There's one guy that I'm trying to figure out which is the set to buy, which is the earliest set or whatever. But I think that's an interesting one. I think Elvis Presley sits in a whole bunch of people's hearts in terms of pop culture, in terms of King of Rock, in terms of all that. I think it's an interesting one. And there are some cards out there that are really, really cheap and really affordable. And I mean, I'm thinking of just maybe buying one more for like as a present for my mum, but also as like a thing where it's like, you know what, Elvis Presley is pretty cool. There's a few Elvis Presley songs that I even like. There's obviously definitely one that everyone remembers, and that's because it was featured massively on a Nike promo ad with Neymar, Ronaldinho. Everyone, you know the ad. Everyone, if they'd seen it, they'd know it was massive back in the day. And it was like a song that they produced after he'd passed away because he'd left lyrics and recordings done, which were unfinished works. And they created this song out of it. So, and everyone knows this song. It's massive. So, but yeah, look, still some good sales, albeit there was some down stuff, but still some good sales and some interesting alternate ones like this Three Stooges ones, which is pretty cool, if you ask me.
Like it. Very nice. Very, very nice. Now, next up, Dallas Card Show Sauce. Your thoughts. What have you seen? I've seen trades. I've seen a lot of trades, a lot of buys, a lot of sells. I've just seen a typical card show. And as we know, when Dallas comes around, last time it was Trae Young's. This time, who is it?
It's Justin Herbert, apparently. Justin Herbert was the hot guy at the show. Last time there was Trae Young in the early days. Then there was obviously Kevin Durant.
Yeah, Kevin Durant. Sorry, yep.
Now it seems to be Justin Herbert was the player which was highly talked about, which is interesting and sits well to me because as I've been telling people for a while, I was been in buying up and investing in 2020 Prism football wax and Optic football wax, and hoping to sit on some of that stuff because I think it's got a good draft class, and it's not just because I think of Herbert being good. Obviously, everyone knows Herbert's good. He won Rookie of the Year, but I think there's a few other guys in there that have some real good potential. But just interesting that, every sort of show, there's always like one guy who everyone's sort of talking about. And, this drives hype. We've seen what it did with KD. His prices sort of took a bit of a bump. Trae Young took a bit of a bump, and then obviously people started to dump his cards after he got the bump, and they've sort of stayed dumped ever since. And hopefully his own playoff performances can see a rise in his prices, which is probably sort of rightfully so. But once again, if any of these guys, if you are wanting to actually get a card and hold on to it for future, for I'm not talking like you're looking to just flip this card in 6 to 12 months. You're looking to hold this card for 5 to 10 years, maybe more, depending on, how he pans out as a player or whatever it may be, or foreseeable future, 2 to years plus. Always look for numbered, lower pop, colored. That's your safer bet. Numbered autos, that sort of thing. That seems to be affected a lot less. Modern guys in general are affected, yeah, but staying away from the silvers, Prism silvers, which have in this whole thing have also been susceptible to a massive down run on them. But yeah, Herbert was the guy that people were saying, and the words which was coming from many that seems to be the talk. That seems to shows me that the hype for the football season upcoming is building already. Remember, I did speak about when I was on the Slab Talk pod about people wising up and buying up football earlier. It seems to be that has sort of died out a bit. Maybe there was a bit of people realizing, shit, we're still 6 months out from the season. I understand I need to be ahead of the curve, but do I need to be this ahead of the curve? So I was, as I said, I've picked up. I tried to pick up a Russell Wilson card. I picked up one rookie, and I was happy with that one. But now I had to look at these prices again, and from where they were just 2 months ago when I was sort of talking about this thing, they've come down. So it seems to be there's a few guys who have come down off that, and maybe it could be your buying opportunity if go have a look at the data and pick the right guys, because we've seen that the 3, 4, 5 weeks before the start of the season, shit gets hot. Shit gets real hot.
100%.
And I think the break for NFL is going to be what is going to spice up the market again. You know what I mean? Because we didn't have that break for basketball. We just went back-to-back seasons essentially. But the break for NFL season, there's actually a break. So there's going to be hype ready. Because people's going to be so pumped for it to be back. So, yeah, as I said, Doma, it's interesting times in the hobby, but I'm not worried. There's always going to be people who are going to be skeptical. There's always going to be people that are going to be, when things aren't, as his Cage said, going to the moon. People are always going to be
Everyone thinks everything's gone to the moon.
Oh, man.
It's funny.
It's pretty funny, isn't it? It's pretty funny. And I'll just, I'll precipice this by saying, unfortunately, the people's expectations in the way things move up in value these days is far, far, far too unrealistic. Far too unrealistic. And I'll back that with a little anecdote of someone I know that invested, a measly 70 USD in a shit coin, I like to call them. A cryptocurrency is essentially there to be pumped and dumped. And I told him, I said, look, there are these shit coins, pump and dump coins, that if you are reading the right blog or following the right Reddit post or following the right Twitter, and you get in early enough, you can put in $100, and your $100 could be $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. But once it gets to that, goes up that quick, you need to cash that shit out because it ain't going to keep going up. So he put in $70 into a shit coin. It went up to $4,500. $70 went up to $4,500. I told him at that point, cash out and run. Cash out and run. He goes, oh, but, there's a lot of people with bigger money than me and this that think this is going to keep. I'm like, bro, it's not going to keep going up. I'm like, it's not. It's just unrealistic for it to keep going up at this rapid rate. You've put in 70 and in 2 days, it's 4,500. How does that happen? Cash out. He thought it was going to keep going up. That $70, I think, is maybe worth like $500-$600 now. Like, it's still up, but like, think about it. You could have 4,000, right? And now you're settling for 600. So there's the lessons of two there. There's thinking that shit when it's going that up that quickly, thinking that it's going to keep going up, but then also not realizing that it's up that quickly to then take profit. So these are the things that, we're seeing in the card market. We're seeing the rise up of prices, frenetic, people taking profit, and then stuff crashing down because people wanting to take profit at those frenetic prices that now they're dropping, but people are worried. But then if you go back and have a look at the prices from 6 months ago, like that shitcoin I just spoke about, he's still up from his 70, he's still got 500, but he hasn't got 4K. It's the same sort of premise, if you get what I'm saying. So it's the same with the cards. I think, is it time to buy some of these dips? Yeah, it is. Should you be more mindful about what variations of cards you're buying? Hell yeah, you should. And that's where it brings it down to research, understanding pop reports, understanding rarity, and understanding what's your true collecting goal. Because if your collecting goal is just to, PC a player and just because you like that guy, like I PC DiVincenzo, just because I like him and I've got some nice cards of him.
That's fine.
Great. Like, so be it. Like, that's it, right?
That's what the hobby was. Just collect,
Exactly.
You can invest in stuff like in wax, and that's a good way to make some money.
I go buy old Skybox Shaq inserts that are worth nothing, $5-6 a card because I like Shaq, I like the insert, and I want that card. I don't really care about the value. I don't care if it's great. I don't really care if it's whatever. I just like the look of the card. I buy the card because I like Shaq, right? There's also that aspect to it, and I think some of that needs to not be forgotten about. That at the end of the day, we collect cards because we like the look of them or we like the aesthetics on them. It's great that our cards go up in value and that allows us to sell them and make some profit and maybe pocket some of the money and use money to buy better cards or buy more cards or buy some wax or pocket all the money if you really want to. If you've got multiple of cards, which has been a few times what I've been able to do, which is buy multiples of cards, sell, keep one, sell two, pocket pawn, use money for another purchase. Hey, at the end of the day, if you're smart enough to buy early and identify the trends, good luck to you. Good luck to you.
All right, Sauce. We'll move on to the last thing. I think we're running out a bit of time here. So
we'll run through this.
Let's just get through
5 minutes on the clock. We're running. We're going to cut this off at 2 hour mark. All right. So
let's get this one quickly done because we missed out on it last week, and it's Psa Grade Standards. And you wanted to talk about a potential pop control of cards.
Obviously, we've had people saying this whole pop control, and people who have graded thousands of cards and things saying, yeah, they're grading harder. It's literally what I'm seeing. I've been grading cards for ages. Well, there's only ever one side to this story. There's no one really sticking up for the other side. And, last week we had someone who runs a massive PSA sub down here in Australia who subs thousands of cards per month. And the numbers that they have gotten and the numbers in terms of like the cards they're sending and the percentage of PSA 10s they're getting back is pretty much identical as to prior what PSA was supposed to be grading harder, which is, in the last, would you say 6 to 8 months that they've supposedly locked down their grading standards?
Yeah.
And they are saying, well, they've been subbing from, 2 years 3 years ago, and they're seeing the same PSA amount of PSA's 10 percentage as they were back then. So here we have on one spectrum, and a lot of people just saying only one side of the story. But on the other side, we've got people saying, well, based off the raw numbers that we're getting off people's subs, the amount of PSA 10s is identical to what we were getting before. So it just brings it back to like, which side of the story do we believe? I don't really know. We have seen those howler PSA 10s out there that just shouldn't be out there. I think this is where it brings it back to like technology. Again, we speak about it, how it can rein those things in. But I just think, it's good to see that there's not always the person or the people, taking the side that sort of favors the collector, because getting PSA 10s favors the collector or favors the seller or the investor or whatever the hell you are in this flipper. Everyone wants to get on that side because that's the side you want to be on. You want 10s, right? We're in this game to get 10s, right? We chase the 10s. But it's good to have someone who's not just sitting here as like someone who sends 50 cards a month, right? It's thousands a month. So it's a big sample size, right? And he's saying the numbers are identical. So it's a bit of hoo-ha what a lot of people are saying. Now, we could get numbers from other people and they may contradict these ones. That's fine. But it just goes to show that maybe the disparity isn't as bad as what people may have thought. I mean, we got people sending in SGC 9.5s and getting PSA 10s. And what? Apparently SGC is an inferior grading company, Doma, by the punters out there because let's be honest, their cards sell for 1/5 of the price. But
we're going to get someone on. We were going to try and tee it up last week. I could actually get back to the person. They do PSA bulk subs, and they also run a very useful website in the hobby. So they're going to give a bit of a perspective on how grades have been coming back. And we've heard a lot of things. We've heard everyone saying, they're grading harsher. But a lot of the people we speak to are just like, it's just as easy to get a 10 as it was 6 months ago. So I don't know. I have no idea. Sauce and I have no idea. But we're going to talk to a few people. Obviously, due to the hobby hangout, we just had stuff on hold. We're working on something else, as we keep saying, something big. Who
knows? Coming. We might be finding a lot more time on our hands this weekend, Doma. Who knows at this point?
Well, yeah. Well, depending on what happens tomorrow, we're probably going to have to make a call tomorrow. That's as simple as that. So, Andrew, if you're listening to this, Perumal, who's been on our show, you're probably going to get a phone call from me at some stage, either confirming or denying us attending. It's a spew. We are in Hobby Talk, so we can talk about it. It is a massive spew because we really, really want to meet. We consider mates over in Sydney now. Like Anth, who it happens to be, shout out to him, his birthday on Sunday as well. And we're going to be with him to celebrate his birthday, and Splash as well, who we were so keen to meet, the local collectible. So many, Joel, ads. We were so keen to meet all of you. Obviously, do a pod and be in the vicinity and be able to chat to Cherry and get people on demand, really, there, bring you on the show. I'm not completely writing it off, but it's not looking great at the moment. So yeah, don't know what we're going to do.
Let's keep it positive.
Let's get positive. Let's get positive. We've got big things coming. Whether it's this weekend, hobby hangout or no hobby hangout, we'll try and get guests on. We'll probably even reshift our focus if we don't go to trying to get people at that hangout to try and jump in. Potentially, we might even just do some live source throughout the day. Try and get some people to jump in and have a chat to us and the vibe and introduce themselves to the hobby as well. There's Azurdo in the chat. Here in quarantine is needed, lads. That's the worst option. Don't tell us that, Dan. Oh, speaking of Dan in the comments, Sauce,
Oh, here we go. But before we move on to Sauceys Smokey, the number one segment in the show.
Carnival breaks. If you're not on it, you better just jump right on it. I am the PSA D rider of Carnival breaks with a little card. I've got a few cards actually. The premise of the way that Daniel does it, Azuro does the break, is there's 5 dice. He's got different things, and every time you roll, if you in certain things, you get in certain number ranges, you get certain hits. And regardless of what happens, you walk away with a card every roll. Now, in my first one, I got a couple cards. So just a couple base cards here. That was an RC, another RC. It's all soccer. Zaza, I'll keep that one. He's an Italian. Keep that. I got a red, white, and blue. Russian keeper. Probably no good. And then I hit this. It's just Radamel Falcao, Titans card. Very nice card. I'll keep that in my PC. But shout out to my sister also, because we were in it last Thursday after crunch time. And I thought, do I buy in? Don't I buy in? We've got another thing on here at the moment that we haven't even released this segment. It's to do with investing someone's money. We haven't even got around to putting that out yet. But now we're going to put it out there. So I bought into it. I hit a Beckham rookie base, considered to be one of his rookies. But my sister and I, shout out to her. I'm sorry, Azuro. We cleaned him out. Azuro sent me a picture of the parcel that's coming to my house during the week. It was very large. He's got everything from, there he is. Had to load up again for the next live. He's just had to get another Ship My Cards order sent back down. But check it out. Carnival breaks. It's fantastic. Dan does a great job. He drinks scotch while he does it. He gets a bit drunk, but it's a very good time. So a nice shout out there to Azuro, and he's in the chats. So, but it is Azuro Cards. Find him on Insta, DM him, ask him how to find it if you can't find it. But he put it in his story. So, yeah, that's a nice positive note to end hobby talk. And now, Sauce, let's get into Sauceys Smokey.
Ladies and gents. Sauceys Smokey this week. Let me get up the card first of all. So this one, bit of a left field this week, but this player is a GOAT in a bit of a different sport. That is for sure. But tell you what, Doma, it's a cracker. If you like me, live in Melbourne, have had the absolute honor to see this man play live on a number of occasions, and also watched him many a time on TV. But he is one of the greatest to ever do it in the sport, without a doubt. And that is none other than this man here, Roger Federer. And the card I have up here today is 2003 Net Pro Roger Federer, numbered to 11. Now, 2003 was his rookie year. There's a few different numbered cards in there. I believe there's a 2003 Net Pro Elite, which is numbered to 2000. And the PSA 10s on those go for about 4K. So that's probably like your more upper in terms of base. Still sort of a base style card, but it's a numbered card. It's numbered to 2000, and then obviously there's some RPAs out there floating about that I did see did some really good numbers. But the card that I'm going to bring up is that's the card, and we're going to just bring up 130 point for a second here and throw in the search just to give an idea of people what to buy. I like this one because it's a nice action shot. So there's a few different ones out there that you can go through and have a look at. Just waiting for it to load up. So yeah, there's a few different. This is from the international series, and you can go through and just pick up one that you want to buy. But let's just have a look here. Right, here's a PSA 10 of the card sold for 485,000. Now, ladies and gents, the pop report on this is sitting at 87. The PSA pop report on PSA 10. There's 269 total graded, and 87 10s and 139 31 9s. But this is where it's interesting. 485,000. Now, we've seen in March what Chris Hodge called and labeled the flight to the GOATs. And it wasn't just GOATs in basketball or GOATs in soccer or whatever it may be, and then see the run-up of all the GOATs. It was also GOATs in tennis. We've seen the tennis run-up, and Cage spoke about it, and the tennis net pro run-up. But this is where I find it interesting, where Roger Federer is actually a GOAT, right? And his cards rose up so quick, and they've come back down. And this is where I think it's an interesting time to buy. Now, do I kick myself every time that I see this PSA 10 at 485,000 and realize that I found this card when it was $150 and kick myself? Yeah, I do.
Bro.
485,000.
$485, isn't it?
485,000. I'm stitching it up here, ladies and gents. It's not thousands. $485. $485 US dollars.
Even yours.
I kick myself every time because I found this card at 150, but that's all right because there's still another opportunity here. And the opportunity I see is that's $485, right? We scroll back down here. You got a PSA 9 selling for 237. Oh, that's the glossy variant. So this is where it gets confusing, ladies and gents. There's a glossy variant. So one that's got like a gloss over it, and that one's got its own pop report. Do your research. I'm not talking about the glossy variant. I'm just talking about the normal base variant. But the I scrolled back before. I just want to find the number. But I seen a PSA 9 of the non. We're gonna go back to March. Here we go. That's where we want. So around March time where I talked about the here we go. Right? Now, Doma, this card here is the same card that just sold for $485. Yes, it is.
Give me a spell. Are you serious?
Right? So, ladies and gents,
run up that much, bro.
For the podcast listeners out there, I'm showing a sale from the 10th of March, a best offer that was accepted for $2,900. For the same card that I just told you today is selling for $485. Right? Wow. So, yes, it got run up a whole bunch of a lot. There was a sale a few days after that on auction, which I think is more of an indication, Doma, that sold for $1,145. So
still, even $1,100.
Yes. So it's come down. There's recent sales on the PSA 10 is 485, and it was funny because there are PSA 9s back in this area somewhere where I did see for one that sold for very close to what that PSA 10 sold for. You got a PSA 9 glossy variant selling for $950 back in March. Here you go. A PSA 9 in the non-glossy variant, just the base variant, $275. And that was back in March. Now, those same PSA 9s today are selling for, I think, about 100 or 110, 128. There you go. Right? So they're half price. So it's a half price discount. I think it's a good time to get one of these cards now. Obviously, they got run up a shitload, and there's people trying to flog them off left, right, and center. Does this go down a bit more? I don't know, but just watch it over this next time. If you're a fan of tennis at all, but I think, $485 now, and that card at one point sold for $2,900, went down to $1,100 the sale after, now down to $485. I think it's a buy. And when the pop report,
crazy, dude.
When
you see what you can see the heights that it got to as well. So that's like, I remember when we sat here one afternoon during lockdown last year, and we actually discussed these cards. When you first found them.
That Roger Federer card at PSA 10 was $150, and I didn't buy one. Anyway, enough of that. But here's the PSA pop report. Here's the PSA pop report. You've got 87 PSA 10s. Now, $485 for a card that's got a pop report of less than 100 as a GOAT. That's unbelievable, if you ask me. So I think it's a play. There is also a Net Pro glossy variant that maybe you can have a look at. I'm not exactly sure what the pot report is on that. I can maybe go have a look.
Adam and Daniel are losing their marbles in the chat on this one. I'm shocked. I remember talking about this card. I didn't realize it just had a run up like that to around 3K.
Yeah, so it was unbelievable. It was
Adam
unbelievable.
Adam makes a good point. He says that has to be the floor on the card. 485 has to be the floor.
So here's the glossy variant I'm bringing up. The pot report for the glossy variant. 160 total graded and 57 tens. Yeah, the pop report's a little bit less, but also as many sort of glossy ones, like the base ones, there are more around than the glossy ones, but also I see many glossy ones getting sold. So yeah, as I said, ladies and gents, that's the card. 2000 Net Pro. There's a whole 2003 Net Pro set, and there's a bunch of different cards in there, but that's just the one I prefer.
I'm pretty sure there's a few rookie cards in that set too.
Yeah, a few different ones. There's also Rafael Nadal's in that set, so if you like Nadal, then definitely go have a look at him as well, because that's his rookie year as 2003. So yeah, there you go. I genuinely think that surely that card can't go lower, because if it goes lower, if it goes to 300, like that's back to the prices, nearly back to prices over 12 months ago.
That's just crazy,
right? So
I'm still in disbelief at the fact that we discussed this card and there's consideration into buying it, and it's
a bit of research right now.
I can't believe it got to 3K. I just jumped off it because I was like, I probably should have bought it in hindsight as well. I had the same opportunity as you at $150. But I made a peanut move as per usual.
Let's see if there's any on best offers. PSA 10s. Here we go. There's a few
there
up
you
there.
Go.
Few up there that are on best offers.
I love that card.
So interesting one. Just one for food for thought. One a bit of left field. Yeah, interesting.
I can't believe that. Hey, you never know, Adam. Oh, seriously, like, tennis rights these days. I'll give you a cheeky play, yeah? I'll give you one cheeky one when it comes to tennis. Just go. It's out there. It exists. It was $70 last time I checked it. But you can go get Nick Kyrgios auto base rookie card for $70. Last time I checked it.
Let's just look this up quickly before we end.
Please. I don't know if it's still that price, but I'm just saying he's not going to be a GOAT, but it's probably worth a nice cheeky investment.
Oh, geez, I think I've cocked his name. How do you spell his surname?
It's Kyrgios. Kyrgios. Tennis Prism would go off. Bloody oath it would. Everything Prism. There'll be like Roger Federer, 25 variants. He's 40 years old and you'll get an RC. Daniel, that's what Panini will do. Oh, this is his rookie card. And he just retired. Him, Nadal, and Djokovic will retire and they'll get an RC card. I think it's Leaf.
Google his name because I still can't get it right after you've told me.
It's a Leaf. It's a Leaf card.
2017 Leaf? Is that the one?
That's the one, I think.
There's a few different ones out there. Interesting. There you go. If you like Nick Kyrgios. I mean, there's one here you can buy. I think I've got it. There we go. I can add it to the stream.
Let's have a look here. I'm actually keen. That's the card. CGA, you coming on the show, CGA? What are you doing?
CGA Pristine 100. They don't give those out too often, do they?
They also don't go on to podcasts often either.
I've got to try to give them a call. I have to give them a call again because they seem to be making moves down there at CGA from what I've been following. Not that I follow it a lot, but it does come up in my Facebook feed.
That's a cheeky little. I'm just saying that card, $125. Yeah, that's his rookie. No, you're investing in that based off of potential. We invest in guys like Luka Doncic and Ja Morant and Zion based off of potential. Why wouldn't you just take the risk on Nick Kyrgios?
I mean, freaking hell, people are freaking investing in guys like Baisley and Keldon Johnson, and the list goes on and on and on.
It's not like we're telling you to.
Bol.
It's not like we're telling you to invest in Bernard Tomic. It's Nick Kyrgios here, mate. Not, you know what I'm saying? We're not.
He's actually got talent. He's just a head case.
I've genuinely got a theory on Nick Kyrgios that he's just waiting for all the greats to retire before he actually starts trying because he can't beat any of them.
That's an interesting one. I like it.
He's better than Team and all those guys. Like, he's way better than them. Zverev. Anyway, that's my little cheeky one on that. But that Net Pro Smoky Sauce, A1. I like it. Now, I'm going to quickly rip some Team Coach. I wanted to. I've got 30 packs there. I'll probably rip on the live. Maybe with you tomorrow. We'll work it out. You got your Footy Stars Prestige. Rip one. Come on. Let's just rip it. Let's rip them at the same time. Let's see what I get. There we go. We'll take that. Look, Sauce. Oh, you've done it the good old-fashioned way. No one wants to see the base. Oh, okay. We'll do it that way then.
Perryman. Tyron Thomas. Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's nice.
Hit a purple star wild card.
That's a good card. Who is it? Is that 5? No, it's not.
Caleb Sarong.
He's good, mate. He's rising star, didn't he?
Oh, so he's a rookie, is he?
Well, technically, that's his rookie card.
You're joking me. You have to sleeve that bad boy up.
Yeah, that's a hit.
I nearly dropped that. That is a hit.
How many? Where we at here? Common, star, footy odd bods, icon, best and fairest, star, wild cards.
Joel Selwood, gold card. And then a bunch of base cards.
1 in 36 packs.
There you go. Thank you very much. I'll take that.
That's a
sleeve that up.
Box hit. All right. Jake the Snake.
That's a box hit.
Yeah. Jake the Snake. Riley O'Brien. Sauce knows him. Luke Parker. Brewsty. Crouch. He's a dud. Liberatore. Jonas. Look at that.
Oh, your favourite player. You can't get better than that, can you?
And then on our way to building a gold.
Oh, you take the craft card. You take the craft card.
I have one more. I'll quickly just rip it. Let's just see what we get here. We'll do the card trick. Oh, Sauce. No, I haven't. I just saw the card. I've done it. Oh, that's funny. Sam Wiedemann. Cripper. Perryman. It's the exact same pack you had. Pendlebury. Myers. Short. Tim Kelly. Caleb Daniel. Saucy. You just gone 2 for 2.
You beauty. It's not the gold one, is it?
No. I wish it was the gold. I'll start yelling. All right. Beautiful. Thanks, everyone, for jumping in. The bloke at CJ is an ex-forensic cop. I trust him to grab my NRL cards. Okay.
That's a
he's an ex-forensic.
Do you know him personally? Can you ask him that Double Coverage wants him to come on the show? Because if you do, that'd be great. Yeah. I emailed them, they don't respond.
Make sure, as a forensic cop, he doesn't go through any of our background because we may. No, just kidding. All right, thanks for tuning in. Ads, Dan, Jihan in the chat, Cherry at the beginning. Thank you for your support and your input. Everyone that's going to listen to this, we appreciate it. All the very best. And till next time, keep living, loving, and breathing all sports as Double Coverage has been Dom with the Great Man Sauce, and peace.
Peace out. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking all sports, Double Coverage.